4 poems. Who is the new hygiene inspector? Who is the new hygiene inspector? Manager, a middle-aged man with a fortnight to help solve its rota problem related to its staffing issues. 6 weeks due to a rota mess-up that left contractual obligations such as turning. If all this sounds complicated, it's people doing a valiant job trying to cope. Nose is against it and you smell the tang of North Bedfordshire. The power of contractual obligations, such as turning. Nose is against it. You smell the tang of people doing a valiant job, trying to cope. Hold back the tears. Even so, there's lots of North Bedfordshire. The power of manager, a middle-aged man with a 6 weeks due to a rota mess-up that left fortnight to help solve its rota problems. If all this sounds complicated, it's Bishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, hold back the tears. Even so, there's lots that he, like many others, felt was lost. With the perpetual look of priestly sorrow, vast light-filled spaces find an echo. Bishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, Sarah McCorkindale and Lord J, British that said, have we ever been so way out of Peterborough? Admittedly, to be on the way, to project a way out of Peterborough, admittedly to project a way out. Sarah McCorkindale and Lord J, British that he, like many others, felt was lost. That said, have we ever been so? Light-filled spaces find an echo with a perpetual look of priestly sorrow related to its staffing issues. 2. Capitalism, a story of violence, hate wildly spontaneous, loose-limbed of breezes, lies placid under the morn. Said, I am worried this signals a Federal National Mortgage Association, a cathedral of strangeness that does paint a remarkably vivid picture of the sky empty but for a sepia murk she undertakes, she and her dancers. Hopefully I can turn this around. Growing corn, rise gently towards the sky empty but for a sepia murk. Growing corn, rise gently towards the Federal National Mortgage Association she undertakes, she and her dancers of breezes lie placid under the morn. Them English said, I am worried this signals a Diana's belief, Diana, Princess of Wales, obviously, that's a reference to, Diana's belief that her former body water made ripples of light dance over capitalism, a story of violence, hate with included management services, wildly spontaneous, loose-limbed water made ripples of light dance over a cathedral of strangeness that does, even now she finds it hard to know, with gilded youth and gilded uncertainty, all of out came she, as an industrial solvent, paint a remarkably vivid picture of Diana's belief that her former body, sun, summer, the in knives like harden. Hopefully I can turn this around. Them English harden like knives in the summer sun. With gilded youth and gilded with included management services, even now she finds it hard to know she came out of all uncertainty. 3. Are the magnets still up to the job of that is solid and grips? Quick cooling their normal retail value, mesmerised fittings, Abide said. But Abide and Nito say that when are the magnets still up to the job of fittings, Abide said, or how to get back to wherever it was that is solid and grips. Quick cooling they share is their intense stillness. Here, or how to get back to wherever it was, their normal retail value, mesmerised Tim New, the managing director, emailed to his bosses protesting that Abide and Nito used the online of rotting fish. In the decaying heart of Abide and Nito used the online Gloucestershire. Tim Brain said the crisis they share is their intense stillness. Here, head investigator on his case is Oleg. But Abide and Nito say that when, in fact, is Sukuku and Mikey too are Gloucestershire. Tim Brain said the crisis whom Sukuku begins to fall in love. Just head investigator on his case is Oleg, email to his bosses protesting that Tim knew the managing director is Luciano, a fishmonger, with a stall, in fact, of Sukuku and Mikey too, are voluble fishmonger called Luciano of rotting fish. In the decaying heart of voluble fishmonger called Luciano is Luciano, a fishmonger, with a stall in whom Sukuku begins to fall in love, just in a way she has. We're at the factory of summation, a drawing of a line of he said, she went, etc., and of he said, she went, etc., and of summation, a drawing of a line in a way she has. We're at the factory. Four. Britain. It's magical in lots of ways. Efficiency and pale wood features all. Smoothness as if on roller skates or working round the clock in Gloucester. This tiny patch of flower-rich pasture, a proper prim and English answer, textures like blood from wounds, or Gloucester as hundreds queued. Thy of a fictional story, a communicably lachrymose and blotchy, without do you won't fool the children of the De Englander, the later served in naked save for a towel round his waist, queued hundreds as Gloucester, in served they Englander der, Gloucester in clock the round working. Fearful man from the Kentish marshes, it is easy to vilify the police. Please be grateful if you could refrain from saqueo of the shopping centres. Would it carries its own premonition of old saqueo of the country, and of that the real saqueo of the shopping centres would be grateful if you could refrain from saqueo of the country, and that the real stonework that doesn't really exist. It is easy to vilify the police. Please, it carries its old premonition of old. Fearful man from the Kentish marshes, answer English and prim, proper a pasture rich, flower of spot tiny this, stonework that doesn't really exist, or roller skates on if as smoothness, or blood from wounds like textures waste, his round towel aforesave naked ways, of lots in magical it's Britain. The of children the fool won't you do, without blotchy and lachrymose bly, communicably story fictional at of thy, all features wood pale and efficient sigh. Thank you.